Hey guys, just got this buggy from a cousin of mine, and said it's been sitting in the corner of his shed for about 10 years. It definitely looks like it's got a bit of age on it. It's a Kyosho brand, uh, but I don't really see a model name or number anywhere. So I'm just kind of, first thing I'm gonna do is try to figure out what it is. Maybe look into doing electric conversion, because it's old nitro, but been sitting up for that long. I don't even know if the motor will turn just in the pull start. So yeah, this will be the beginning of a new project. Alright, so I got it cleaned up. Looks decent. I'm not a real big fan of this kind of a metallic. You can see like the little flecks in there, purple with the green rims. It's not really my style, but whatever. It cleaned up pretty good. The body is old. It got some cracks in it, different places, worn out. So that's definitely something I'll look into replacing. But yeah, I kind of did some research. Looks like this is a Kyosho Sandmaster MK2. It was made back in like the mid 90s. Yeah, this has got a two-post design for the fitment of the body. In the front post broke off, so my cousin I got it from, he just put a screw on there. I guess he was maybe using a wing nut or something to hold the front end on. So yeah, the nitro engine was locked up. So what I decided to do was just kind of make some rough fitments and see how things will work out. And this is just a standard hard case 2S battery. It actually fits just about perfect sideways in there. One thing I need to work on is making a motor mount just to hold this motor in place and give me some adjustment, as far as the gear mesh or whatnot. And that's pretty close fit, you can see. So what I may end up doing is get like a shorty style battery and mount it vertically like this, and come forward as I can. And that would kind of give some room back here between the battery and the motor. That way they're just not sitting there getting each other hot. So yeah, I borrowed some electronics from my granite, the BLX 100 ESC switch. Got the tactic receiver mount on the side there. Yeah, and the wires on the granite are obviously really long, so I don't have anything connected up, because then the body doesn't even fit. So what I probably would do is just order a little cheap ESC and motor combo off of eBay, Amazon, something like that. For the final fitment, the servo is just completely locked up, but that's a pretty standard size. I checked the fitment of it. So again, there's some good cheap budget options on servos. It's a little small car, little narrow front wheels. It's not going to take a very strong servo to turn those. And one thing I looked into was just having, buying a nitro to electric conversion kit, which they make for several cars. Unfortunately, this platform is not one of them. Another thing I'm going to have to look into is the gear mesh. This is like a 1.0, I think, metric gear mesh. It's really big, even though the larger pitch on the granite pinion, it's too small compared to these gears. So yeah, see, it don't even fit down into the bottom. It looks decent on camera, but they don't fit in there properly. So I think Traxxas makes some 1.0 pinions I can buy, so I'm looking at that with a 5mm shaft. So as far as the size of this thing, I got my rustler here just to compare with, and you can see the wheelbase of it is exactly the same, but the width on the rustler is much wider on the tires. They got the longer A-arms and everything. I've seen where people have actually installed rustler A-arms on this type of car to widen the stance of it up. But I like it. It's actually very light, probably 7-8 pounds if I had to guess, just estimating. So yeah, I think it'd be a fun little car. That motor is probably really big for this car, but just because of the size of the shaft I'm gonna need for the gear mesh, this thing could potentially be a really good ripper. Suspension, you know, just needs to be worked over. See, it gets stuck down. The back end, not too bad. So yeah, next step is to fabricate a motor mount and get a replacement servo. Once I get those two things done, I can do some testing, and I'll be back then. So this is a very rough draft of what I'm thinking about making to mount the motor on this Nitro car. Yeah, I made this out of construction paper just because it's easy to work with, kind of get an idea on the spacing and then the size. So with something like that, you know, still got to get a different pinion gear for the motor because it's the wrong tooth pitch for that, for the spur that I have on this car. And then also another thing I'll probably do is add another piece in on this side and just kind of run with some like 1-inch spacers and tubing and some bolts just to kind of sandwich it in there, just make it even a little sturdier. But yeah, that's where I'm at in the design process now. Thanks.